World's first battery electric freight train unveiled. The world's first battery electric freight train was unveiled at an event in Pittsburgh on Friday. Wabtec, the Pittsburgh-based rail freight company, showed off its locomotive at Carnegie Mellon University as part of a new venture between the two organizations to develop zero-emissions technology to help move the 1.7 billion tons of goods that are shipped on American railroads each year, perched upon a strip of rail at Carnegie Mellon's Technology Campus on the banks of the Monongahela River. The cherry red, 75 feet long train provided a striking background to politicians, rail executives, and academics who urged a swifter industry transition away from fossil fuels. Dignitaries were allowed to clamber up a vertiginous ladder onto the train to inspect its confines, which included a small driver's cabin in front of 500 lithium-ion battery modules, arrayed in stacks in the heart of the vehicle. Locomotive underwent successful trials in California earlier this year, where it was found to have cut fuel consumption by 11%, which meant reducing the amount of diesel used by 6,200 gallons. Wabtec said that the next iteration of the locomotive, to be rolled out within 2 years, will be able to cut the consumption of diesel, the fossil fuel traditionally used in freight rail, by nearly a third. The company also said emissions will be entirely eliminated through the development of accompanying hydrogen fuel cells. If the technology is used worldwide, Wabtec estimates planet heating emissions could be cut by 300 tons a year, with nearly half of those saved emissions occurring in the US. A bolder, cleaner, more efficient transportation system is in our grasp, said Rafael Santana, chief executive of Wabtec. This is just the beginning. This is NBB News Channel. Support Green World. Save One Trees. Commercial ad sponsor Green Sky Community. The rail industry is seeking to position itself as an enthusiastic backer of Joe Biden's climate agenda despite its history of funding groups that reject the reality of climate change and fiercely protecting the stream of coal transported on U.S. rail. The use of rail to move freight long distances has been an integral part of the American economy since the Union Pacific and Central Pacific Railroads were joined up in 1869, allowing goods to flow freely to the U.S. West for the first time. The rail freight industry is now worth around $80 billion and spans 140,000 miles of track across the U.S. However, the environmental benefits of rail have been undermined by the heavy reliance upon diesel to fuel freight trains, as well as a widespread preference among businesses to move goods via trucks rather than trains. This is a problem globally beyond the U.S. The International Energy Agency has said that freight rail is often neglected in climate debates and currently carries only 7% of all freight moved around the world. Wabtec is betting the FL's drive will change this dynamic. Housed in a traditional locomotive body, the new battery system drives the axles of the train and uses the kinetic energy of the train's braking to partially recharge the battery. The newest version will be a 7-megawatt battery locomotive, which is 100 times the power and energy within a Tesla. It's dramatically more powerful, said Eric Gebhardt, Wabtec's chief technology officer. The unveiling of the locomotive was used by 2 attending Democrats to renew their calls for $600 million in the planned congressional reconciliation bill to be dedicated to a new freight rail innovation institute that would provide the research and development to cut emissions from the sector. The lawmakers and Wabtec consider battery-powered trains more practical and cheaper than electrifying all of America's rail network.